Hi, my name is Liz Hathaway and this is my astrological look at this coming week. That is the week starting the 16th of March 2020. So, what do they say? It's a curse to live in interesting times. Well, we certainly live in interesting times. I think what we're seeing really is a lot the shadow that I talked about at the beginning of the year, the Saturn-Pluto shadow. We're living in Saturn-Pluto times. There is always in Saturn-Pluto times crisis. They just don't feel like Jupiter and Sag times. There's definitely always that sense of, certainly with Capricorn as well, of back to basics, of stripping away, of bringing things down to the essentials. Sort of the joy goes out a bit. It's all about, that exposure and taking it back to the absolute bare minimum. And that's what's happening in the social scene at the moment. Everything's closing down. We've got no cafes in Amsterdam, restaurants, everything is shut. People are being very much thrown back on themselves. And this is interesting because the North Node is coming down to the early degrees of Cancer now, coming onto the axis of the world. So it's really showing us what really is important, what's really important. What we're seeing at the moment, aeroplanes on the ground, a lot of things, events and parties and social gatherings and museums, all of that closing down. But what we really see that we need, of course, are the services of the people that fill the shelves in the supermarket, because here a lot of people are doing what we call hamstering, buying in loads of stuff. Thank goodness for these very low paid people that are stacking the shelves there. They should be more appreciated. The nurses, the people that are doing frontline jobs who are often the worst paid. We seem to be doing all right without our bank managers, but we do need the essential things. These people do important work. So it's a really strange sort of vibe in the collective at the moment. I think at the beginning of the year, one of the things I mentioned in my overview of the year or in my vlog over Saturn-Pluto is this sense of things freezing over, things slowing down and stopping, and the sense of having an opportunity when things freeze over and things stop, the opportunity to have a good look at them. We see things clearly. So in some ways, this is a moment of collective clarity. And it's interesting because if you look, for example, at the Ingress chart for the Sun's Ingress into Aries, it's always a really important chart for the year. A lot of astrologers see it as really putting its stamp on the entire year. So if we look at it, it's got a very strong sort of Capricorn feel to it. I mean, the Sun is, of course, in Aries. It's Mars ruled. Mars is in Capricorn at the moment. It's Saturn ruled. Jupiter is there as well. Mars, Jupiter are just conjunct the day, just shortly before actually that ingress. So that's in the degree as well of the Saturn-Pluto, that karmic conjunction there. So that springs out, the ruler of that Aries sun aspect, unaspected. So this is beyond leaders, if you like. People cannot, they can try, but something like what we're going through at the moment, sometimes good intentions as well, don't turn out as they were intended. It's funny, I was chatting to an Italian friend earlier today who told me, because I was saying, I hope you haven't got family in North Italy, etc. And he was saying, yeah, but it's moved now. It's coming, we're getting cases in Southern Italy, because the moment people were told to stay put in the North, a lot of people immediately, before all the shutdown happened, sped down to the South to be with family, or maybe they lived there or whatever. But there was a whole heap of people who immediately left the north of Italy and moved to the south, obviously taking the infection with them. These infections as well are respiratory. They're of the lungs, so it's very interesting when we think back to that Saturn-Pluto conjunction. There's the post I did where, we talk about Mercury getting in between these two planets. Mercury, of course, ruling the respiratory system, ruling the lungs, ruling this breath, So yeah, interesting Ingress, Mars, Jupiter there in that, really sort of honing in on Saturn-Pluto earlier on in the year, picking up and emphasizing and bigging up. Jupiter bigging up those themes of, so back to basics, cutting out, only essential travel, you know, affecting the economy big time. And then we have Saturn poised to move into Aquarius, because this week, of course, Saturn will be dipping his toes there. For the first time, he's going to enter into Aquarius. That's it for, you know, probably 30 years since he was there last. Sunday, Saturn into Aquarius. So, and Friday, Sun into Aries. So it's very much, this is very much a Saturn that is a herald in a way. He's taken us into Aquarius, there where we know we're going to have the Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions there. On the winter solstice, we're going to get this, you know, definitive shift of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions from the element Earth to the element air. Wow, that's that. So this is all, it's all there. It's all in the pot now. It's really interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting astrology at the moment. So, yeah, what's also interesting is the moon is in Aquarius. So as I say, you know, we have this thing of society in a way kind of shutting down and recognizing the importance of those people close to us, our tribe, our family, those people who are going to support us if society, you know, doesn't see our value anymore. Because, I mean, there's certainly in northern Italy, you know, and I think, you know, that idea of people of a certain age not, you know, being first in the line for intensive care if beds are short, that, you know, I understand it, but it is that sense of society is not there for you in the way that your family and friends will be. You know, they'll be the ones that will bring you some shopping. They'll be the ones that will hold your hand if it's desperate. So yeah, we're kind of this moon in Aquarius. I felt it very strongly in the park today as well. We've had this 240-year period with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunctions in Earth, where we mastered the material world. We kind of know how the material world ticks. We know how to exploit it, etc. But air, it's about social. We have lost the social factor. The social fabric is what has suffered. If you're working in the gig economy, you know, you don't know when you're working from one day to the next. You don't know you know, when you're going to be able to spend time with your friends or family. You know, there's a lot of people that never really seem to have enough time to spend with those they love. It's all become about the Capricorn thing, nose to the grind, getting ahead, making money, making a name for yourself or whatever. But it's all become very dense and very materialistic. So this moon in Aquarius in this Ingress chart is almost as well, it's sort of showing people a glimpse of a different life. Today in the park, normally in the early afternoon on a Monday, it's pretty empty in there. It's just older people, you know, people that are maybe in the lunchtime rushing out with their dogs. Today there were people relaxing there, people with their children there. You know, there was a whole different life going on there. And I think this is sort of what this year is going to be about as well, or could be. And I'm kind of holding out hope for it, because I do think we need to take a step back. And I think that's what the energy at the moment, this crucible that we're in, this sort of alchemical moment, which is how I describe it in my vlog at the beginning of the year, in my vlog as well over Saturn, Pluto, Mercury. It is this process of change that we are in. So a great week, a great week. Stay safe. Thank you for listening. Bye.